If you were to do a Google search on the most corrupt city in America, Washington, D.C. will always appear. But we all know that the US government is corrupt, so we're just going to scroll down to the second most corrupt city in America, Chicago. Chicago is known for many things: delicious food, beautiful architecture, a lovely lakefront, and corruption. Chicago has the most political figures convicted of corruption than any other state in the country. And it is still happening to this day. So how exactly did Chicago become the most corrupt city in America? Let's look back to see where this all started and why it persists to happen to this day. When you think about corruption in Chicago, one of the few people you would think about is Al Capone. But if you look back a couple more decades, the corruption in the city all started with this man, Michael Cassius McDonald, an immigrant from Ireland that came here to Chicago from New York. In the late 19th century, Chicago was a developing city with a lot of growth and potential, which attracted a lot of young men with big ideas. Chicago attracted people like Marshall Field, who opened a retail emporium in downtown Chicago. George Pullman, creator of the sleeping and dining cars that made travel by train a lot more easier and comfortable. And where people like Abraham Lincoln spent most of his time working on legal cases before becoming president. But unlike Lincoln, Michael worked his way up in a very different way. Michael started his illegal path by selling half-filled candy boxes to people across town and selling phony raffle tickets. Michael guaranteed a cash prize up to $5 in every single box of candy purchased, which if you adjust it for inflation will be around $150 today. And most prizes amounted to just a few cents. But once hooked by the possibility of a big prize, greedy passengers tried and tried again, leading McDonald to coin the phrase, "There's a sucker born every minute." Michael will work his way up to owning a gambling parlor in 1873 called The Store. The games were rigged, but it became a gambling mecca in the city and a major attraction. Michael would use his influence to ensure that he could operate his business without police interference. And through his businesses, he was able to garner connections with many of the city's criminals. Then Michael would soon get into politics. McDonald organized the successful mayoral campaign of his close friend Harvey Doolittle Colvin. Colvin's victory gave McDonald even more influence in the city. McDonald would come to have many of the city's politicians under his influence. And he would brag that he ran the town and had the city's police department under his thumb. McDonald established an alliance between the city's gambling interests and its politicians, which saw some of its illegal gambling revenue, which was used to fund the Democratic Party. Michael would go on to owning several buildings, 4 gambling clubs, and a liquor distributorship. Then after years of moving around the city and the country, he was indicted for his crimes by a new political power, leaving the door open for a new king of Chicago to influence the city and its politicians. In the early 1900s, you start to see the rise of organized crimes in the neighborhoods of Chicago. One of the organized crime organizations that rose to power was the Outfit. Founding Outfit leader Donato Johnny Torrio, nicknamed the Fox, who many would call the father of modern gangsterism. Johnny immigrated from Italy to New York City with his family at the age of 2, then soon arrived in Chicago. The Outfit rose to power in the 1920s under the control of Johnny. This period was marked by bloody gang wars for the control of the distribution of illegal alcohol during the Prohibition, which restricted the selling of alcohol throughout the United States. Torrio invited Capone from New York to help run the illegitimate alcohol business. With so much power, the Chicago Outfit as an organization was now ready to utilize its capital to buy politicians, crooked cops, and judges. At the end of 1924, the Chicago Outfit had between 300 and 400 members throughout the city. Though it never had a complete monopoly on organized crime in Chicago, the Outfit has long been the most powerful, violent, and largest criminal organization in Chicago. Torrio would soon hand over power of the crime organization to Capone after Torrio was shot several times. For years, the Outfit was connected with those at the very top of the Chicago government who helped most of their problems go away. But Capone would later be convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison as a result of an FBI investigation that was in the works for years. Capone would soon leave to retire in Florida after prison, But the Chicago outfit continued to expand throughout the city and government, going through multiple bosses throughout the years and embedding their influence in the heart of Chicago's political system. This influence will be made apparent with Fred Roti. From 1968 to 1990, Fred Roti served as the alderman of Chicago's first ward. In the United States, an alderman is usually a figure elected to a city or town council to represent a division of citizens. They will typically vote on items such as the allocation of city funds and the introduction of new traffic ordinances. And Fred Roti was a member of the Chicago outfit and an alderman of Chicago's first ward. Roti fixed murder cases, bribed judges, and changed zoning laws to accommodate illegal activities. He was ultimately convicted of racketeering charges and served his time in prison in 1999. This case showed the influence of the Mafia, how members of the outfit rose in power in many areas of the government. But politicians in the city don't always need the influence of the Mafia to continue its corruption. One example is Operation Greylord. The FBI touts Greylord as one of the most important cases in history of public corruption. This case involved undercover operations that used honest judges and lawyers posing as crooked ones, with the strong assistance of the Cook County Court and local police. 92 officials were indicted. Nearly all of them were convicted, most of them pleading guilty. It was a monumental first step in cleaning up the corrupted officials that controlled the city. One of the most noticeable examples of corruption in the city was the conviction of Rod Blagojevich. Blagojevich was a former state representative and a U.S. congressman who was elected to his first 2 terms as Illinois governor in 2002, based on a promise to restore integrity and trust in government, because his predecessor, Republican George Ryan, was convicted on fraud, racketeering, bribery, extortion, and money laundering. He was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Prosecutors said Blagojevich and others working for him began a pattern of racketeering activity as soon as he took office. Rob used his power as governor in exchange for financial benefits for himself and others. Blagojevich will soon be convicted of his effort to try to profit from Obama's vacant Senate seat after Obama became president. Blagojevich was sentenced to 14 years in prison. But he was released 6 years earlier after President Trump commuted his sentence, saying that the sentencing was too harsh, citing that the judge was just trying to set an example with Rob to prevent further corruption. But if that was the judge's intention, it did not last very long. Just recently, Mike Madigan, a Democrat from Chicago's Southwest Side, saw his downfall begin in 2020 after federal charges against utility giant Commonwealth Edison singled him out as public official A in an alleged corruption scheme. That filing, in which ComEd agreed to pay $200 million in fines and cooperate with an ongoing federal corruption investigation, sent political shockwaves across Illinois. It alleged year-long bribery schemes in which ComEd steered contracts, jobs, and payment towards Madigan. That filing lists nearly $3.3 million in alleged payments intended for Madigan and his associates in exchange for favorable treatment in the state legislature. As corruption snowballs, it becomes more acceptable until it's finally just a way of life. It's sad, but the people of Chicago are numb to the reports of corruption. You still hate to see it, but we've seen it time and time again. The city was built on corruption. Maybe one day we'll see a change, but by the looks of it, we will see more stories of politicians betraying the oath they took when they came into office. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I have more videos of wealth, power, and corruption coming to this channel. Thank you.